Hey guys, what's up? Shin0555 here, back with another episode of our Pokemon Master Quest. This is a series where I plan on drawing every single Pokemon in the Pokédex. And today's video, we have Pokemon number 7, which is Squirtle, everyone's favorite water-type starter. So, but before we jump in, I also like to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. That really does help me out. It helps the series out too. Also, if there's a Pokemon you want to see me draw, leave that in the comments below. The more comments I get on certain Pokemon will increase the encounter rate for these videos. So if there's one you really want to see me do, just leave it in the comments below, and the more comments I get on whatever Pokemon, the higher chance a video will come up on them. But without further ado, we got Squirtle here, so let's just jump in. So I did the pre-drawing like I normally do, the little sketch that I did right here. I have the color swatches for Squirtle here. I also have our handy little reference image that we're going to use. All in this folder, all stuff. But what I'm going to start out doing is I'm going to make a new layer, and we're going to break down Squirtle's kind of basic shapes here. So I will do it in blue since it's a water-type Pokemon. And, so when you're drawing Squirtle here, it's pretty simple to break down. His head is this nice, decent-sized circle here, like that. And then there's going to be another decent-sized circle, like, right underneath him. And for each of his limbs, they could just be their own little ovals, like this. And then his tail is just simply this kind of like big circle shape behind him. But then when you want to break down like his face, you gotta think of it kind of as like instead of just a circle, you know, I think of it as like a sphere, even though it's flat. So basically, you draw on the crosshairs something like this. The eyes would be right about there. And we can turn off the sketch layer here. And you should have something that looks something like this. Very basic, very simple. The eyes will be about here and here. And you want them to be like ovals. Like these kind of like ovals. There and there. The mouth will be somewhere around there. But that's pretty much good for like the basic breakdown of what Squirtle looks like. Very simple shapes. And if you want to, you can actually kind of cut this circle in half this way. So we can get the shell here and then the front of his body there. But other than that, that's pretty much the simple breakdown. If you can get this kind of sketched out before you start drawing, this will really help you. There we go. This will really help you in the when you actually start drawing out, laying down the shapes and stuff like that. So we can delete that layer. I'm actually going to make a new folder, and we're going to name this line layer, or line art. And I'm going to go to a black here. I got my anime ink pen. That's what I name it. It's a pretty good, like, stroke pen. A layer in here so I can actually show it off. It's a pretty good, like, stroke. So you get nice thin. You can go thick with pen pressure. So let's clear that. And we're just going to jump in. We're just going to jump in drawing Squirtle here. So let's start with his eyes, actually, since they're right here. And basically, you want that oval shape, but you want those kind of like Dragon Ball Z eyes, where it's kind of like a big U, but it's like flat on the bottom. So you really want that flattened out bottom. I can make that a little bit straighter. Like that. Curve that in a little bit more. You see it a lot more on this one, so you get that big kind of U shape and then like a flatter bottom. It's not super flat, it's still kind of rounded, but it's a lot flatter than what the top is. So we're going to just draw in that U shape. Oh, if I had a steady hand, if I could actually, you know, draw well. There we go. And then for the eye itself, we could just draw this nice kind of curve line. The Squirtle's eyes pretty much take up the whole eye. Like, he doesn't have much of a pupil. Or, not, it's not a pupil. His pupil takes up most of his eye space. You don't see a lot of the white. And we'll just get a nice little curve line there and there. And now we jump into his smile here. His smile is pretty simple. It goes straight into like his eye here. So we're going to start right here. Go down, curve, down, over. Want more of a sharp point to that one. There we go. Then his nostrils are simple. Kind of a little curve line. I'm just darkening that in. These can just be black. Like that. And now I'm actually going to jump into his hand because his hand slightly overlaps his face a little bit. So that'll help. The hand's pretty simple. It could be this nice big U shape here. Like that. And then for the thumb, it's just this little like very rounded triangle. It does have like a little bit of a point, but it's not like a sharp point. It's more of a rounded one. And then just connect that into there like that. And the fingers here, they're just little kind of rounded triangles like that. Nothing too crazy. But now that we've got that down, we could jump into his head here. Let me balance that a little better. So again, this is gonna be a tough one. Again, doing like big strokes like that is always tough, especially when you're doing like a circle, because you gotta like keep it perfect. That's another hard thing about Squirtle is like he has a very rounded head, and when a character or Pokemon or anyone has like a very rounded head, you gotta nail that round. There you go. So it's gonna take a couple strokes, but like once you nail that like round shape, you should be pretty good. That line's a lot easier. It's just a nice little curve line going down. And now, very similar to what we did with this hand where we drew it first, we're going to jump into this foot here and draw this one first. And the foot's pretty simple. It's pretty much this kind of like rounded... It's almost like a bell, like a bell. You can make it into like a very elongated one. But then we're just going to go into the toes here, like so. And now we could draw in this curve line. Like that. It's just a nice big curve. And then we'll just draw on this foot since we're here. Just be a nice little curve line going down into a bump. And we'll get one bump here. And we'll get a curve line. It's going to flatten out here and then curve up like that. Now we could jump into this hand. And this hand, again, it's kind of like that oval. But once you get here, you want to bump out into a finger. Let me do that a little bit better. Like that. Then we'll have a little bump right here like this. Then go out, over, and then in again. Oh, that's way too far. Over, and then just kind of have it bump out just a little bit. And then again, we get that little triangle for the thumb there. I thought I did like a line there. That's the background. It's the problem with being fancy. And now for the turtle shell, it's pretty simple. Basically, the shell here, it has kind of like an S curve to it. So to draw that in, we're just kind of nice little S curve. Do a little S curve there, a little curve there. And then we're pretty much going to finish out that round shape here like that. Well, nah. Yeah, there we go. Like that. And the tail itself is kind of just this kind of like big curve line that goes around like that. So it kind of goes up. And then, try to make it a little bit better. Try our best to stick to the actual reference image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to drop this line weight down to like a 9. Because we're going to do some like smaller details here. So for that one, the shell, you just want to do 2 curve lines here and here going in. Because that's how much we see. But like his belly design for like the front of the shell, you get a straight line or a curved line going around here. Because again, you want to keep it curved to like match the curve of like his body. So no straight lines, just kind of curved lines. Then we're going to take this line, go down straight to the middle. And then it breaks off into like a V here. Like that. And we'll also get like a V here, like so. Another V there like that, and then just a nice curve line that connects the two. So that's pretty good. And then the last thing we want to draw in is the little swirl on his tail. So we'll start right about here. and just draw a little swirl line like that. That is pretty easy. I'm not drawing anything in his eyes because I tackle eyes a little bit differently. But that's pretty much good for the sketch or the line art for the for Squirtle. So I'm going to turn off the sketch layer, and this is pretty much what we have. Looks fairly decent. And now I'm going to show you how to drop in color. So the cool thing about Sai, and you can do this in Photoshop as well, or just doing art digitally. I think pretty much every art program you can do this in. We're going to make a new folder, and I'm going to just call this color. And we are going to add a layer. And now I have the color swatch right here. Actually, I'll even put in the reference image so I don't screw up on the colors and make Squirtle like freaking green. So basically what we're going to do here is we are going to lay down every color here. So we're going to lay down the blue, this kind of tan peachy color, this kind of darker reddish, and this purple color. We're going to lay these all down, but every time I do a new color, I'm going to make it on its own layer. And I'm going to show you how to do, we're just going to do the blue one first. And then I'm actually going to cut the video because it's just kind of really tedious. So basically what you want to do is take your select tool. So I have my select tool right here. And be on your line layer, because if you're not on the line layer, when you click it, everything gets selected. You don't want that. So we're going to hit the line layer here, like the folder itself. And I'm just going to click in all these spots that are going to be blue, like that. And the only thing you have to look out for is when you zoom in, you're going to see like a couple of these little gaps. You just want to take your select pen and select them in like that. So again, they come up anytime there's like kind of like a sharp edge. Since we're doing like Squirtle, he's very rounded, so I don't think there's going to be that many spots that we need to do this in. But that's pretty good. And then all you do is click on the layer where we're going to lay the color. Get like your bucket tool. Actually, before you get your bucket tool, get the color select the color, then get your bucket, and then just simply just hit the color in like that. So I'm actually going to cut the video until I get all the color in, just because like it's a little tedious and very time consuming. But I am literally just using like what I just shown you. I hit the select tool, go to line art. I'm gonna select all the colors that I want for this one, drop the color in on its own layer, and just rinse, recycle, repeat until I get all the color laid down. So yeah, so I'm gonna just do a quick cut here, and we'll come back with all the color put in. Alright guys, so we're back here again, and I just laid down the colors, and as you can see here in my color folder, we have all the colors. So each one is its own separate layer. This is actually very helpful later on. One thing I do want to do is I want to name, because I have a layer of white right here for the eyes and like the rim of the shell. I'm actually gonna name that layer white. Mainly because it doesn't show up in the thumbnail here. Like you can see kind of like the thumbnails where the colors are. And when you name it white, it just kind of looks like a blank layer when you use white. So I name that layer in particular, just so I don't lose it or think it's like an empty layer. So anyway, what we're gonna do here is we are actually gonna copy this whole group. So how to do that in Sai, we're gonna click on the group itself. We're going to go to layer, and then we're going to go to copy layer. And now what I like to do is on the copied layer, I take out the eye color and I take out the white. And then I merge the color layers together. So it's this button right here. So I merge these all together. And basically what we have now is all the colors except the white and the eyes are all in one layer now. And like a pro tip to the reason why I made a copy of the color layer, because if I ever need to go back and select something, say I just need to select the blue on him, if I do that in this layer, it won't work. If I take the select tool, it'll just select, actually it should select, yeah, you see how it selects everything, like all the colors at once because it's one layer. But if I do that for this layer, when I hit, I guess when you hit the color itself, it just selects everything. That's weird. So you have to select outside, and then you could actually go to selection, invert, and then we got all the colors on the inside. So it's good. It's very handy to have that, just in case you want to like go back and change something. Or if you just want to change like a single color, you could go back and do that as well. So it's good to stay organized. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm actually going to jump into his eyes first. So I'm going to hit the eye layer right here. I'm going to actually close this so you could see what I'm selecting. And we are going to create a new layer above that layer. And we're going to create a clipping mask. And then we're going to set the mode to multiply. And I'm going to take the color of the eyes. I'm going to make it very darker. Something like that. And then I'm going to go to my base color here. And if you ever need to know any of the settings that I have for my brushes and stuff inside, they're all right here. And I'll always be mindful to keep that open, just in case you want to copy them yourself. And this is way too big. We need it to be maybe like a 40, 30. Yeah, maybe like a 30. So basically what we're going to do here is pretty much copy the reference image, where we're going to get like a nice curve line here like this for the eye. And then pretty much just this nice kind of U shape right here. Like that. And then pretty much the same, well, how's a look on this? Oh, it's going like the opposite direction. So we'll get a curve line that goes like this. And again, if you're wondering why like I'm just staying in the lines, that's what a clipping mask does, by the way. When you click on clipping mask, it basically locks whatever you draw to the layer that it's over. And we'll get another U shape. So it's very handy when you're trying to draw stuff to like stay inside the lines. Super useful. So we got his eyes that look something like this. Also, when you're in Psy, one thing I do like to do is use this water fringe for the eyes. Basically, you go to water fringe and you could change the level up. And basically, it puts this nice little like rim on the eyes there. Very helpful. And if you don't want the rim kind of like on that, all you need to do is kind of just draw a little bit more, get it like a little bit farther away, and then you should be pretty good. Like that. Then what we can do here is make a new layer, create a clipping mask for it. We'll make this completely white because we're going to just do that big light reflection he has on his eyes, which is very simple, is just a nice simple circle like that there. And there's one in the corner here that's slightly smaller. Be something like that for the eyes there. And now for the white here, what I'm going to do is very similar, create a clipping mask. Since we're using the color white, we could just use some like grayscaling here. And basically what you want to do is just kind of go a bit down, and really, you really wouldn't even see it for the eyes since there's so little white there, but it would kind of follow right about here and just be a tad darker like that. If you want to go even darker, you can kind of do it like that. So you would get like a little bit of a blend, but we're going to go back down to like a very light gray and just do the rim of his shell here, just on the inside like this. So we're just going to follow it very closely like that. And then what we can do, actually we could do it a little bit more, have it like curve around like this. Then what we can do is take our blur tool. You could use either blur or this watercolor brush that I have. Here are the settings for it. And all you need to do is just kind of follow this and just kind of go over the line just to create a nice little gradient. Like so. You want to do short kind of strokes that follow it, just so you get like a little gradient, a little shading right there. So that's pretty good. And that's pretty much all we need to do for the white. Again, there's not a lot of white on this image, so it's pretty easy. Now what we can do is go to the color. Again, create a clipping mask, set it to multiply, and get a like kind of dark color. Since Squirtle's kind of blue, this might be a little bit. Here we go, something like that. And what we're going to do is switch to the airbrush here. So we have it on multiply, we create a clipping mask, we have the airbrush. I'm actually going to bring... Actually, we'll keep the airbrush at 100% just so we can really see what we're doing, and then we're going to lower the opacity there. And use a decent size one. I might go to like 120. And really what you want to do is we can follow kind of the shading here. So the light's coming this way on Squirtle. So we could just take the little airbrush and just kind of slightly go in here. The shell would be very in shade, so would the tail. And again, don't worry if it's too dark. We are going to lower the opacity. The reason why I'm not doing that here is just so I can really like see what we're doing. But we will do it in a second. A little bit on the arm there, a little bit right here on that arm. And again, you just want to go very light, you know, really kind of help cut out the shapes. Because again, the light's coming this way, so that's kind of the way you want to like shade it. Something like that looks pretty good. And then what we're going to do here, I like using the blur tool with the airbrush. Make it a little bit bigger. Make it like, that's too big. Make it like 120. And, ooh, it's really powerful. Just kind of going in and just slightly kind of like blurring some of this together so it blends in a little bit better. And again, you just want to do, when you're using the blur tool like this, you just want to do little like kind of jabs. So don't do like one big hard line where you're like kind of like really scrubbing it in there. Just very kind of like light jabs. Just to kind of blend it out a little bit better. And when there's some areas here, here's a good little trick that you can use. When there's some areas here, like I kind of don't want this shadow right here, what you can do is you can switch back to the airbrush, click this thing in between the color, and basically what it does is it makes the airbrush an eraser. So now you keep the airbrush properties, but it turns into more of like an eraser. So it's very helpful on certain things like that. Maybe clean it up a little bit over here. So you're not doing like hard erase lines, you're just kind of lightly erasing it in areas. So that's very helpful too. Like that. And again, like I said, to blend it in even better, we're actually going to lower the opacity a little bit, just slightly. Maybe like that much. Like that. And now we are going to go to a new layer, create clipping mask. We're going to change this one to screen. Right here. And then we're just going to click on like probably one of the lightest colors. Something like this. Maybe even make it a little bit lighter. Just a tad. And you could do this with the airbrush if you want. Or you could do it with the base color tool. Forgot the name of it for a second. And basically all you want to do is just kind of lightly, kind of give like little highlights to where the light's hitting them. Put a little circle in there like that. And again, since he's like a water Pokemon, he has like kind of like wet skin. Or like kind of like dolphin skin, I guess. I would assume that's kind of like the way Bulbasaur is. So he'd be very kind of like reflective. Kind of like that. A little bit over there. Get a little dot here. Maybe like a little bit on the shell there. And you get a nice little dot right here on the tail. Again, don't go crazy with it. That's pretty good. It's a little dark. Maybe lower the opacity just a tad. That's pretty good. And then the last thing I want to do here, or one of the last things I want to do here, is I like giving it some texture inside here. You can go to layer effects, and we can go to like maybe like watercolor 2. Looks pretty good. Yeah, something like that. Just giving a little bit of texture here on the color, just to make it pop out a little bit. And one thing I did in the last video, if you saw it, well, I guess the Bulbasaur video, and I'll do it here too. For the line layer, what you can do is create a new layer, create a clipping mask if you want, and then since Squirtle's like mostly blue here and here, what we can do is take that blue, make it really dark, but you still want to keep the blue, but make it almost black, but like a very dark blue, and then switch to the base color here, and then what you can do is just kind of go over. I'm gonna go to like 3. Yeah, go over the line art. Like that. It's very subtle, but it does help a lot when you're doing this. It makes it like slightly lighter, a little bit more crayon-y, I guess, cartoony. I don't know. It lightens it up just slightly, so it does look pretty good. And then what we can do here, if you want to, because some of the things you want to stay black. So I want like the nose to stay black there, and then I like the eyes staying black too. So I'm gonna erase the line art around the eyes. Just to make them pop out slightly more than the rest. But that is pretty much it. That's pretty much how you draw a Squirtle. I will... Should have turned off the reference image a while ago. Gotta keep my branding here. The Pokemon Master Quest. But, yeah, we finished Squirtle. So, yeah, that's pretty much how you draw them. Not a hard Pokemon to draw, if I have to say. Again, the basic drawing's pretty simple. He's just kind of like these big series of circles. And once you drop, like, the color in and kind of go over the light shading... it's fairly easy, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how we draw a Squirtle. I believe we finished the catch here, so we can add them to our PC. Literally add it to our PC. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much for watching the Master Quest here. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, stay tuned. I have a playlist up there, so the way the playlist works is the number of the video is actually the number of the Pokemon in the Pokédex. So since Squirtle is actually number 7, this will be labeled as number 7 in there. So if you ever want to look up a Pokemon on the playlist, just type in their number and it should come up if I have it done. And also check the playlist because I might have already done the Pokemon you wanted to see, and if you want to see a Pokemon, remember to leave that in the comment section below, because your comments do affect the encounter rate. So if you want to see me do a Pokemon, definitely leave a comment. So oh, also, if you guys followed along and drew your own version of Squirtle, tag me on X or Instagram or whatever social media you use, or I just have X and Instagram. And I'll like retweet your stuff. I'll definitely do like a retweet, send it out. Just tag me in it, and that way, I'll know. Let's hit Control-0 so we center the whole thing. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. and enjoy the end slate coming up. Hey guys, welcome to the end slate. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope your catch went well. And yeah, this is just the part of the video where I ask you to like, comment, subscribe, share it. You can follow me on all my socials. Link is down in the description below. All that stuff really helps me out, and I really do appreciate it if you do take the time to do that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, just want to remind you guys, your comments do affect the encounter rate in these videos. So write what Pokemon you want to see me draw next, and the more comments I get on one, it increases the chances of us running into one and catching it in our Master Quest here. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye, later.